Hello there. I am so glad to have you join me tonight because this is going to be such a special show for me. I am I am having the best day except for a flat tire in the middle of Birmingham on a Sunday afternoon with nobody to help you. But I'm resourceful and I got it done. And it was such a nice man who helped me. His name was Angel, and he will always be my hero. My other hero is joining me for the show tonight, and I'm so fortunate because this is somebody that I consider a really fantastic friend. We have traveled together, we've investigated together. We have he put up with me and Lori and Rick for two different trips of at least 2 weeks in Scotland. And he was such a champ about it. He didn't run off and leave us. He didn't, run screaming for the door, maybe once. But he is just really somebody I enjoy so much getting to spend time with. And I just did because we had lunch last week. So this is my friend, Mikey Thompson. So,
hey, girl.
hey, Mikey.
Hey.
Hey, boy. Hey.
How
are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Long time no see. Well,
normally that would be true.
Yeah.
So that was a special treat when you hit the ham. I was glad to see you.
I know. It was just like, hey, I'm so close to you. I can't be this close, and
You would have heard about that.
Yes, ma'am. I would have.
Maybe
hey,
a little
everybody.
bit.
Look at Lori's here.
I know. We're loading up here.
Hey, Ingrid.
So, hi, Jim. So we've got Lori. We've got Jim, who is the Lucier Mystery School. We've got Ingrid, and we've got all kinds of stuff that's going to be going on tonight because this is going to be a really graphic laden show. But in fact, my StreamYard was like, Chick, what are you doing? You've got plenty here. So, that was funny. But it's never done that to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's never done that to me. It was hilarious because I was like, and so then,
That's all right. We'll crash it.
It's all right. You know what? It'll just come back.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
So
we got Carl running the show in the back, so we're good.
Carl can keep everything working. He is so good at that. And
yeah.
It's funny because he really saves me from myself so many times.
Yeah.
Because, like on days like today when I'm all in a flutter, right? Because every place I went to the places my son used to work and they turned me down.
What?
And I'm like, two different stores, two different places that fix things. We're like, oh, Chick, we're so sorry,
Yeah.
And so the first time I called my son and I was like, where do I go if I can't go here? And because the woman didn't know me, right?
Yeah.
And Aaron said, well, we'll get that handled, Mom.
Yeah.
So, but I left. So,
but it worked out.
Be that person.
It worked out. Everything worked out. You're good.
Well, yeah, but it turned out that it wasn't a nail. It was actually one of those little screwdriver heads that you put into a change out screwdriver.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And the pointy part, because it was a Phillips, the pointy part had gone into my tire and just the nub that holds it in the bit thing was what was at the top of, showing on my tire. And so the man, when I finally found this wonderful man, Angel, he was trying so hard and he couldn't get it out because it narrowed down and then spread back out. They had to take the whole tire off to get it out. And he fixed it so that I could drive it home.
Wow. So they were able to patch it?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of those pluggy things.
Yeah.
It took a couple of those. So I was just like, but it was fun. But I had just gotten, I've been spoiling myself a little bit. That's what I get for doing that on show day. So, well, I had to do something. My nails look like, Dracula nails. So.
Yeah, me too.
I know, right?
I'm kidding.
So, Jim says he just walks or takes a bus, but I don't live where I can do that. So, or I would, because I loved when I was in New York getting to use I wouldn't use their transportation system now, but I'm a taxi girl at this point.
Yeah, Uber, I mean,
And no matter where I would be, I wouldn't do it in Atlanta either.
I well, I don't mind traveling, and although
Traveling, but I wouldn't take public transit right now.
oh well, yeah, yeah,
People be crazy, man.
I know. This is it a full moon or something? Is that like
Yes, it's a great big moon. It's the biggest moon. It's the wolf moon.
it's the wolf moon? Okay, that's what, because I didn't
Yes.
have this yesterday. It just like so. I'm like, what is happening? I feel like
It's just that day.
yeah, my back looks like this too. It's just like it's weird, but
I'm so not even touching that. But hi Terry.
hey
Oh,
Terry.
Central Texas in the house.
Oh yeah, I'm officially a Dallas, a Texan myself. So, well, Plano, just north of Dallas, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh look, Jim said that's why he was howling all night. I thought it was the Taco Bell I ate, Jim. Am I allowed to say that?
That could always be
That's
the
why I was
case.
howling all night. But anyway,
Well, I've investigated about everything else, but not werewolves, so we can test that theory.
yeah.
About everything. We should go to Transylvania,
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
right?
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, Terry, I'm not a Cowboy fan. No, I'm not.
Is there another Texas team?
Uh,
No, I'm not a football fan at all.
yeah. We like college football, right?
Yes,
Roll Tide roll.
until that last game
Ah,
where they never showed up.
I know. We asked
Yeah,
Melinda. We
we
do
should
need
all
to
go to Waverly. I haven't been. I can't get in.
Well, I know it's tough. I mean, people are buying up the slots as soon as they become available. But when I worked in Louisville, I went 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't book the entire place to myself. I did a couple of the public investigations, which were great. I mean, the place is so big.
Yeah.
But wow, what, especially being in the medical field, and I don't know, that was my bucket list. I just felt drawn to that place, and I love it. I love Waverly. I love everything about it. Just it's a beautiful building. The vibes, like, I don't know. It was a great experience. So, but anyway, yeah.
Was it scary or spooky? Was it spooky?
There's, it's more of when you think about what happened and what was going on there, and like you can be down in the death tunnel, and that's scary. It's like 600 feet down, and there's no way out. When you're down there, it's pretty dark. But if you're down there thinking about why it exists and what happened, for me, that was like, we're going into the morgue and kind of like almost putting yourself back into that place, or up in the OR where they were doing these procedures, and the story of the nurse who took her life there, and the kids that were up there, and all the things that happened, during Waverly's during her era, is just it's sad, it's heavy, but I wasn't scared. I remember I got to go up to the rooftop, and I had gone by myself. I was in the group investigation, and they broke us up into, I think there were 20 of us in each group, and we split it up. So some of us started downstairs, some of us went up top. but they had some time where you could free roam, and most people were there in a group. I was there by myself. I had all my stuff, but so I went up to the rooftop and I just set up my equipment, and I kind of sat there and, you know, was talking to the kids or whatever, or doing my thing. And eventually some people came upstairs to the top, another group, but they didn't know I was up there. And I guess I startled one of the guys there, and he was like,
oh no.
Yeah, I think my cat ball started going off or something, and they kind of jumped a little bit because it's dark. I mean, we're sitting in the dark, you know, which is, I mean, that's what we do. But the guy said, "Are you up here by yourself?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, you got bigger, you know, than
Cajones."
Yeah, and I was like, but it didn't bother me. I was just so excited to be there. Like, it is scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, we go into these places, you definitely, you get scared being anywhere alone, you know, especially in a big place like that, in the dark and with all the stories and things. But we kind of look for that. Isn't that what we do? Like,
it is what we do.
Yeah. So, but I never felt like I wanted to grab my stuff and run out of there ever. You know, I wish I could have spent more time and done like an actual overnight. So, yeah, so in the OR, Melinda, I didn't have the door slamming, crazy things like that happen, but I did set up some equipment there, and the tripwire I had set up by the entrance, and I was kind of role playing. I'm like, "Okay, doctor, we have the patient ready," and, you know, just going into nurse mode, whatever. And I was setting up stuff and talking as I'm setting up, and then sure enough, I hear, you know, the REM pod go off like by the entry, and I'm like, "Oh, is somebody coming in?" Like, you know. So then you hear that equipment going off, and it kind of, you grab onto that and roll with it, or you freak out and grab gear and try to like capture what's happening. Like, when you're by yourself.
Yes.
So I have cameras up behind me I bought one of those 360 cams, so I could just catch everything that's happening, because, you know, sometimes I'm by myself in these places and it's hard to, but I didn't get anything like coming at me on video or anything. It was just, you know, equipment going off, which the big one was down in the morgue. I walked in, I went to go down to the death tunnel, and it was packed from the group that was there. They had kind of made their way past the morgue, down the hallway into the death tunnel, and the guy that was kind of leading us said, "Hey man, you might want to turn around and come back later to give these guys some time." He goes, "And if you do, you know, you might be down there by yourself, if that's kind of what you want to do. But it's pretty busy right now, or, you know, it's pretty full." I said, "Okay." So I went back down to the morgue, and I had my rig. And if anybody knows, has seen my rig, because I go a lot of places by myself, so I had to make this whole thing where I have my night vision camera, I have my thermal camera, I have my IR, you know, I have everything on one rig, and my backpack full of crap. And so I walked into the morgue, and I was just kind of panning around, you know, just checking everything out. And I got back to the rack, and on the bottom was a heat signature. And so I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, I'm filming this with my rig, and I got it on thermal. I'm watching the thermal, and I'm like, this has to be somebody from the group that's down in the death chute that had laid down on the bottom rack. Like, that's what we do at Waverly, right? Everybody gets in the rack. And so, but I was also thinking, well, how long does a heat, you know, body heat transfer stay visible on thermal? So now it's like science and math and everything else. I'm not trying to debunk, but I'm trying to make sense of it, right? So I stood there and I'm recording it and I'm watching it, and as it dissipates and goes to cool, I'm like, okay, this was somebody that was in the other group, right? And as I'm going through that process, the heat signature comes back.
Get out.
Yeah.
Cool.
It starts to come back. And I was like, now this is nuts. This is crazy, right? I'm in there by myself.
Go ahead. Because it's, even if it were a spirit, you wouldn't anticipate a heat signature.
No.
You would expect it to be going cool.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a full body. It looked like somebody had gotten up, and whatever was residual was there initially when I went in and started filming it. Like it was, I'm just waiting for it to get cool in there, and it was cold. It was, what, March or so when I was there. So I laid, so I set equipment on the next two, the middle rack and the top rack. I had a REM pod and a millimeter up there with the built-in RAM and all that, and some other a recorder going and everything. And I laid down on the bottom rack and slid myself in. And so I'm in there, by myself, and the REM pod above me starts going off. And so I'm now I'm laying there. I'm a big guy. It's mostly muscle, mostly. But either way, I'm on this tiny little rack, and I'm slid in there, and I'm like, I can't just jump up and get out of here, So I just laid there, and I was like, did a little, anybody else in here? Can you make the thing go off? But then other people started coming back in, so I scoot out to let them go. The interesting part about that whole story, though, was I went and showed the staff that thermal. I backed it up and I said, "Hey, I saw this in the morgue. What's your opinion on it?" And the first thing he said to me was, "That looks like a child's heat signature. That doesn't look like an adult. It looks like a child." And he goes, "And we recently have had sightings of someone in the 7 to 10-year-old range down here." And he goes, "So yeah." I thought, and I didn't even think about that. To me, when I first saw it, it looked like maybe an adult had been there, somebody had been there, and I was at the tail end of this heat signature. But I didn't think of, that it could have been a child. And this is the staff's opinion on this too. So, and that's why we do what we do. We capture what we can, and nobody knows for sure. But that was definitely one of the most interesting things that happened to me there at Waverly, was there in the morgue with the rack. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, if you're gonna have just a thing,
yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good just a thing.
It was just a thing.
I mean, one of the things that really surprises me, not anymore, but when we first started investigating together, is that no matter what, you are so ready for any scenario that comes up. And it's really cool. One of the things that really surprises me is how often, well, in my case, as you know, I had batteries croak on me constantly.
Ugh.
Constantly. And brand new batteries, or fully freshly charged, batteries, or it doesn't seem to matter the equipment that I'm using. And then I've had stuff that came, I would leave an area, and this happened to me at, I think it was the main river. Lori would probably remember that, but everything died on me, and I walked out of an area and everything came back.
Huh.
Which absolutely ghosts do love Duracell. Yeah. They just eat them right up. But
sorry.
It's so bizarre to me that doesn't seem to happen to your stuff very much.
Well, ma'am, if you recall, one of my favorite battery drain experiences with you was at Balgoni.
Well, that's true.
When we had that just mind-blowing experience with Rick and Scottish Paranormal, and that whole just after we lost the Laird, he'd passed away, but we got to do the investigation there, and we set up in the museum there, and I had put equipment. I flooded that museum with everything I could carry in a bag to Scotland.
Everything.
But when I was just literally with Rick yesterday, Rick McCallum.
Yeah.
I got to see him in LA. We went and had dinner with him and some of my members from Scars and their lovely spouses. But anyway, we were talking about this and how the rim started going off, fireworks, and then the Mel fireworks, and everything's going off. The K2s are lit. You pulled out your handheld camera.
Oh, that was so annoying.
Battery gone.
But it wasn't.
Well, but
it
remember,
was the battery never died. It just.
But you put another one in. Camera came on.
Yes.
Died.
But the same battery would come back on too later.
Right, but remember, I happen to have the same camera.
Yes.
I had 2 batteries of my own charged up. And I pulled one out for you. I said, here, I have the same camera. Take this one. You put mine in, dead.
Yeah.
It was like, what is happening with your...
Well, but it was in the midst of that. And one of the things that really got me was, and I've talked with the other people that were in that room. Everybody, to a person, commented on how it was almost like a Jacob's ladder of power climbing the antenna on that REM pod.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't show in the video.
No. The
lights do.
Yeah.
But the power climbing does not show in the video. And I'm trying to find that. I'm trying very hard to find that video.
Uh-huh.
Because I was just looking at it yesterday and I'm not seeing it in my assets here. So, but I will find that before we go off the air, because it blows my mind.
I think, for people that are looking for paranormal experiences, we all have our stories and the reason why we're here and we're doing this. And Rick McCallum is probably the most seasoned paranormal investigator we both know.
Yeah.
He's been doing it, forever. And he's been to some of the most amazing places on earth. This guy's, he's a legend in the paranormal field, and he's been doing this for so long. But for him, to have an experience like that, I can tell you, how many times have we worked with people who have got into the field because they lost their best friend to suicide, and they just want to reach out to them and know that they're okay, because they can't handle the blame that they feel. Like, they want to know. And there have been those that have had experiences that they feel like brought closure to them for that. And that's this is why we all do this. We're hoping for that moment, or that type of experience. I would say the majority of us are, especially the ones that are in the field because of something like this. But Rick was very close to the Laird, and they just hit it off. They didn't really even, they knew each other for a while, but not like, it's just like the first time they met, they just connected. And so it was a big loss to Rick losing the Laird. It was a huge loss to all of us, but he and Rick were very close. So to have that experience that night with all the equipment and everything that happened, and that group that was there with us that got to experience it. Yes. I feel like that, even Rick said after that and everything that happened at the cemetery in Inverness, he was just like, I'm done. I could walk away right now and have completed my paranormal journey, And so it was just, and I have never seen anything like that up until that night, and I haven't seen anything since. And I don't, you don't know if you ever will. People.
You know what I told him that night? I told him that when he said, I can quit. I'm not. And I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Because now you know.
Now you know. Yes.
We know. That was so obvious. There was no way to debunk that. There was no question that was responsive. And I felt like that after Balgoni. I did. And yes, Melinda, I did. And I was just so blown away by the fact that this was really happening. There are places that I've been that I know were haunted, but they weren't. This is going to sound terrible. they weren't special. They weren't individual. It wasn't something that I was getting responses from. You know, there's what always at Old South Pittsburgh, always at Dale Paulding Jail, and always when I've been to Balgoni, something has happened.
Yeah.
But there's not that many places other than those that I know I'm who's getting the response that the response is because of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's so cool when Ohio State, yeah, that's true too. But reformatory, not university. But that place, they love Lori there too. But you know, there's just places that you absolutely know, yeah, this is somebody trying to talk to me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that I've had that full on like Rick with the Laird experience.
Mm-hmm.
I had
you haven't done it as long as Rick.
But yeah, I never will. But like you said, I think there are things that happen at places, even though it's not like someone specific. It's just like you said, so that you know there's something there. Yeah. Maybe it's something about you. You know, we've had a lot of opportunities to work with mediums and psychics on this journey, yeah. and that's a whole nother side of the paranormal for me. I'm the tech guy and the data collecting guy, but to have those people see something in you that you don't.
Yeah.
And then, and for me, like, for instance, when I was in Kentucky, I went up to Indiana State Sanatorium. Why not? I'm only 3.5 hours from it, right? And I got lucky both times I was there. I had the entire property to myself.
Oh my gosh. That would be heaven.
It was insane. The staff were there working on the governor's mansion. They were turning it into an Airbnb, I believe, but no one on the grounds. You can go and do a day pass, which is what I had done both times, but it was like on a Tuesday, you know, at 10 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I had the whole place to myself, and it's a massive property. It's massive. And so for me, I went through the tunnels. I went through every building. I went into the nurse's station, of course, because, you know, I'm a nurse. Yeah. And so I wanted to set up in the octagon. I call it the octagon there. Kind of, they had like a nurse's station in the middle of the, you know, you could see each wing, and I set up equipment there. But I felt that, again, that personal, that connection as far as like the medical field goes. Mm-hmm. And I was up in the mental health building, the 4-story building they had there. And, you know, like you were saying, like you were asking earlier, do you get scared? Like, was I scared at Waverly? I wasn't so much scared, but I'm not going to lie and say that I haven't been in places where I've been scared. But what I do is I'll walk to that entire property. And when I feel that in my gut, where I kind of want to turn and run, that's where I set up. Yeah. Because I feel like that's my body telling me, you know, hey, they're here. Something's going on, right? So set up here. And I did that there in Indiana State, and I sat in the little common area, which was kind of in the middle, and sure enough, I had equipment going off like it was coming towards me down the hallway. And so again,
did you use your light path?
The strip?
Yes.
Yeah, I've used that a couple times, and I think the most I've ever gotten out of it was at Waverly. When I set up in the OR, I had that strip laying there in the entryway, and I got some hits on that. But I've just, you know, I wouldn't say that the equipment doesn't work. I just say there was some, like Rick McCallum, for instance, keep going back to this guy, but he's the K2 master, like the old school K2. And that's just his thing. Like that, it doesn't matter where we're at. The guy gets hits on that thing.
He does.
So, and I love the REM pod, but I don't have the luck that these guys on the show that do this stuff have with it. You know, like when that happened at Balgoni, that's the craziest my REM pod has ever been in the existence.
I've never seen a RIM do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen a RIM do that. And, I found it interesting with all the stuff that was going on in this room. And it was very obvious who it was, who he was there for, what his goal was, which was communication. And I can't remember which of the ladies said, but there's supposed to be a code word. There's supposed to be a word that the Laird gives that Greg had set up with him. I said, well, Greg's not in here. I think that word is for Greg. And because I didn't have any response like that that I found on my recorders, any of them, voice or video. But I thought it was interesting that different people were looking for different things.
Yeah. Well, we don't get things on demand either.
No, I've never.
If that were the case,
that's not true. I have.
Well, I mean, not all the time. It doesn't. We just can't walk into a place and say, "Okay, I need you to say the word purple, so I know you're here," or whatever. Or else we wouldn't. Nobody would be doing this, right? Mel asked, "What's both of our all-time favorite place to investigate?" Scotland.
Anywhere in Scotland,
right?
We went to a town this year, and Lynn and Gary came and picked us up.
Oh.
And we had lunch, and then they took us to a town called Crail.
Now you're just rubbing it in because I didn't get to go.
You'll be there next time.
Go on.
So this little town is right by St. Andrews, and it's on the 4th, but it's so, the houses one of them was dated 1601.
Wow.
But it's the only place in Scotland I saw flying a Union Jack too.
Oh, really?
Which I found that very odd. But they had a harbor like St. Andrews, but more compact.
Yeah.
And Lori and Lynn found tons of sea glass there. And meanwhile, I'm looking at the water and the bridges, right? I'm not into the sea glass because I've got all this stuff I've read about right in front of me. And you know how I am about that.
Yes.
But, we stopped and had tea and shortbread at the cafe. They had a little bitty sit outside, and it was freezing cafe. And I would love to investigate there.
Yeah.
And it's not far from St. Andrews. And, it's just that I feel like and I feel this in a lot of places there, which is why I love Scotland. Almost everywhere I go, I'm aware of spirits around us, anywhere we go. And that town and St. Andrews probably are the two strongest. But what's your favorite place, Melinda wants to know, in Scotland?
Oh, wow. That's like asking who's your favorite kid, Melinda? Come on.
On any given day, we all have one.
My kids are watching. Oh,
they are not.
No,
they'll watch later.
They don't care. Honestly, Melinda, and I'll give you my honest answer to this. And I'd love to hear what Kat thinks too. For me, investigating in Scotland is different than anywhere I've investigated in the States. And the reason for that is because of you, the Scots.
Yes.
The people there. When I'm in Scotland, everything that's here in the States came after.
Yes.
We have the Irish and the Scots and everyone that immigrated over here to help make this country what it is, brought all of that with them, all that knowledge, that architecture, the skill, everything I feel like what we have here, as amazing as it is what we learned to do from Scotland. Like Scotland is home base, and it's so well preserved there, and everyone is so passionate about the history and about preserving it. You know,
Well,
when we were in Culloden,
yes,
I
I'm not
asked.
going back there though.
It was heavy. It was heavy.
No, I
But
got shot.
well, yes, yes, I
I'm not
remember.
going back there.
But I asked Liam, like I said, hey, how often do you guys get to come out here and investigate? And the answer was, no one comes here and investigates.
Nope,
This
no
is
equipment.
sacred ground. This is sacred ground. And there's nowhere that I've been in the States where I've been turned away because it's sacred ground. It's, you know, it costs $1,000 a night to stay here if you want, which is great, you know, if you want to go and do that. And I do, you know, sometimes. But
You do.
But what I'm saying is the point is the people in Scotland and the passion for the history of that country and the buildings that are still exist and everything that's there and how things are sacred versus how, you know, it feels different. And when you walk into a 15th century castle and put your hand on the sandstone, you can almost feel the history come alive there. So
You can feel the history come alive.
yeah, it's just different. Like I want to take my shoes off and run around in the grass and just kind of get grounded there. Like I can't.
Yes.
Kuros.
Oh my God. Kuros is probably my favorite place that I don't know. I mean, I just think that it was so powerful there. But my favorite thing about Kuros was you placing the flowers.
Oh, was that Kuros or was that?
That was right outside of Kuros.
Oh, for our lady, our last accused witch, or yeah, what that was.
I'm going to put on specs and see if I can find that picture.
Oh man!
Because you know, one of the things that just struck me about that was there it is.
Oh wow!
One of the things that struck me about that was that to a person, when we heard that history, all of us were her. You know, all of us were we couldn't stand what happened to her.
Right.
You know, and we had horrible witch trials here. And it was just hideous. But they've opened now a witch trials museum in Scotland. And Linda's brother is the person over that. Or was when it opened. I assume he still is. But when Lynn was telling me about that, she was like, I'll not go. And I think she changed her mind on that. But I was, hey, Tom, but it was just so, to me, because I started researching it, like compared to our witch history here.
Mm-hmm.
The Scots are the way that they are because they have in their history the capability of being ever so brutal. It's what saved their nation so many times. It's what allowed things like with this woman to happen, and other women and men too. Wasn't just women in Scotland. But you know, it was just absolutely shocking to me, the brutality that the Scots used in their treatment of the witches. We were bad.
Yeah.
But the Scots were brutal. And that's one of the things that I think still runs in the Scottish body, is that power and character, that the same thing that allowed the negative has also served them so well. because they are fierce and they are powerful and they will defend to the end.
Well, they're passionate.
And with a passion. And I don't think that I know we don't have many people with that strength of character and that passion.
Yeah.
To do whatever it takes. I mean, we were talking about Culloden. The 450 English died at Culloden versus 1,400 and something Scots. The Scots charged, although they didn't have their regular commander who was there who told them to go. It wasn't their normal person. But 1,400 and for 1,440 something Scots died that day versus 400 English.
Yeah, massacre, brutal massacre.
And, they didn't stop. That's what got me, is that they just kept fighting, even against those odds.
Yeah.
And those English were so brutal that they went and killed the families of the people that were there fighting.
Yeah, just kept going.
They didn't want to. I mean, they found out who it was that was fighting at Culloden, and they went and killed their families just because their people were there.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that. No.
but that like this picture you put up here, this is a marker. What we're looking at right here, this is it's like a grave marker. This is where
it is a grave marker.
Yeah, and so I don't know, but not too long ago, it wasn't very long ago that I myself wasn't at a cemetery putting flowers on a grave for someone that had passed away during my, close to me. So this picture and this story that you were talking about, it was important because this woman was killed how many hundreds of years ago?
And 5.
And at that moment, no. Well, yeah, it was centuries ago. But at that moment, that group of us that were together there and the people from the area, the first thing they thought when, they saw me break out the little drone was, is there any way we can get flowers on that grave?
Yeah.
Can we please get flowers on that woman's grave? When's the last time someone paid respects to her? Yeah. This woman that was murdered for allegedly being a witch. But that was the importance, like you were saying, like you go back to Culloden and the fight and these guys and the passion that they had, just as they just didn't stop, and it was the things that was important to them, and just like the flowers were important to leave for this woman hundreds of years later, and we did it. I still, because you did it, but with a lot of cheering behind you. But, in fact, because nobody thought that those flowers were going to drop. Yeah.
Guys, he had his drone
up. Daisies? Go ahead. Yeah.
Little baby daisies. And it was so precious because he was flying them. And we didn't think that the drone was going to release them.
Well, we had him tucked into the landing gear of the drone. And so
he's sitting there and he was so determined that he's got his drone going. And it did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. And you were so successful because you were determined that was going to happen.
Well, when this whole thing started, I thought it'd be really cool to get a shot of that from the drone. That was not my idea.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful idea, and you succeeded with it.
Right, but after the fact, you're almost embarrassed that you didn't think of it. But to be a part of it, well, I mean, I guess that's the difference, right? I'm over here with my drone and my cameras and my this. I'm like, I want to get a cool picture of this. Whereas the people that lived there and are passionate about the history of this rock we're looking at say, that's great, you have a drone and a camera, this, can you put some flowers on there for her? That's the difference, Mel. That's what I'm talking about. Is I run into a building with all my equipment and my gear, and I'm, you know, I should say that was the old me. I would go in looking for answers and things. I have since learned in my time investigating to appreciate the history of the buildings and the people that were there before, and have the passion about it, just like you guys do, every day with things like this. So it was absolutely an honor to do that and to be a part of that, however many hundreds of years later. And they didn't even last on there long. They fell out of the gear and they laid there for a minute, and the wind came and carried them away. And it was enough. We got flowers.
Well, I think that was kind of poetic.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was an honor to be a part of that. And it was an honor to be asked to do that. And that's what I love about Scotland, Mel. Is that passion, like Kat said, the intensity of these guys in kilts trying to trudge through marshes and bogs to fight the English for their land, from those guys to the people with the bleeding hearts for the ones that were wrongfully taken and they just want to simply pay respects to them and put flowers on their grave
because there's a method to do it.
Yeah, and you guys you fill the spectrum. you're on both sides of it, but it's no less intense on either side, and I just love it. I love the passion there.
Well, that's because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I would say I didn't meet anybody the whole time that I've been there. I've been 3 times now, and I haven't met anyone that is lackadaisical about their pride for their country or their I mean, I'm sure there's rogues everywhere. There are. I mean, they're everywhere. They're universal. I haven't come across one there.
Yeah. Well, everyone that I've experienced there was excited to show us about their culture and about.
Yes.
I mean, yes. I say, I love Kuros, and that was my heart's there. Mm-hmm. But then we go to Perth with Lynn and Gary, and right yes. Now I fell in love with Perth. I say Perth. It's Perth. Yeah. Perth. Am I doing that right? Don't kill me. Yes. Perth. I'm trying to roll the R. But look at, the things that we got to see and do there, and the history there, and then.
Oh well, we have a little something somewhere in here.
Do we?
Have to go to the specs.
Dig it out. But yeah,
I have to find it.
These
are small little images over here on the side.
That's okay. We get the idea.
Oh, this is a better image.
Oh, there's the plaque. Yeah. That's. Can you leave that up so they can read that?
I can't leave that up.
Yeah, that's the beautiful plaque there, right along the front of the wall, before you get to the beach on the lock there, or on the. That's high tide or low tide. They waited till low tide. They took her out there, dug into the thing, buried her, put the rock on so that she would be underwater as well, right? Because they were afraid she would come back.
They were afraid she would come back.
Yeah, there's a whole. It's a whole thing. It's a whole terrible thing, but look at it. They built this. They put this plaque here to honor her, and then
because people there care.
Yeah, and they preserve it. Like I said,
yes.
You would think if you're a paranormal, like Culloden's got to be like Gettysburg, in a way. If you were to compare a battlefield,
it's exactly the same mindset, and that's why, I have gone and filmed. I've done some voice recordings. The battlefield, but one of the places, and I didn't even know what it was, turned out to be Devil's Den there. And when I saw it, I was just like, oh, this has so much energy. I was taking photos through there because that place just felt like I needed to document that. one of my friends who is not given to fancy at all was there, and there's a creek that runs across the little road that they built to go through the battlefields. And he was just standing on a bridge over that little creek. And he knows about paranormal, but he doesn't really investigate paranormal. And he said he was just sitting there and he was contemplating on all of the stuff. And he looked down and that creek was running red.
Mm.
And I was like, did you fall asleep? I mean, what happened?
Yeah.
And he said, no, it was running red. It was totally not, it was just there.
Yeah.
And I have felt places there that felt like that. Like that would be something I saw, but I've not seen that. It was the first place that I actually saw real apparitions that were stuck. I mean, I thought that I was passing reenactors. I was driving from Reagan in, and looked down. There's a beautiful little white house down there, and I wasn't to any markers that said get battlefield or anything, so I didn't know I was on the battlefield. Now I know everything is a battlefield. But I looked down. There were these people, and they were in old white clothes, old school clothes, and I was like, oh, they're reenactors. It's a strange day to be reenacting. And so, when I looked back down, because I just kind of glanced back down and there wasn't anybody there. That was my introduction to Gettysburg.
Wow.
And so I was just kind of like, well, I guess this is pretty rocking.
Yeah.
know?
Well, and you can imagine if you were able to put boots on ground and Culloden and have camera and gear and try to, what would you capture there? But I mean, as an investigator,
you would capture a bullet in the gut's what you would capture. I would never do that there.
Right. Just have a real life experience like that, but you wonder, you wonder if you would capture similar things like people have caught at Gettysburg,
Yes.
But at the same time, I almost like the we'll never know, because it's just sacred. And it's not to say that Gettysburg isn't, or that Gettysburg is no less respected here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
It totally is. I mean,
yeah, it's different in Scotland when, it's not like, yeah, man, you got all your stuff, charge up your batteries, and we'll sneak in tonight and do this. They're like, no, we're not going to desecrate, or not that we're desecrating or anything, but we're not going to disrespect, or it's just a respect thing. It's sacred.
I think the fact that these people were they didn't have any guns, and they were charging guns.
Yeah.
These are people who were passionate and willing to die, hoping that enough of them would get through to get to the English.
Yeah.
It was just the most horrible thing. And, and I found it interesting that what hit me felt like that. Cause I had that pain for a long time after I came home, and there wasn't anything wrong with me other than that paranormal injury. And it was really the fact that it didn't dissipate, and the fact that it felt the size of like a musket ball. My grandparents used to shoot musket balls. It was real pain. I had to leave.
Yeah.
Because,
I remember. And even the next day, I can't remember where we were the next morning. But you.
We were in Inverness then, weren't we?
I think the next day we were, but I remember in the morning we were talking about getting breakfast or something. You were just like, I'm not even My
No,
stomach is
don't want to put
still,
anything in there.
yeah.
That was,
That Jim
and
that's
if
asking,
I'm not eating, there's something going on. Not
yeah,
especially breakfast. I'm a breakfast girl.
yeah, beans and bangers and
Mm.
haggis. Come on now. Oh,
You're
but
the
is that
goofball that ate haggis our first day,
you gotta
ever
try?
our
You were
first
in
day.
Scotland. You gotta try it. Is that
Your
Jim
face
that
was, I've got the picture of you doing that too. I should
I
have put that in there. I didn't know we were going to talk about that.
I was
But that
nervous.
face was like,
I know. I know. But it wasn't bad. It's a little peppery. I mean, it's I've had
it's
worse
dry.
things.
It's so
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah. I
Every
I,
piece
I
I had was dry.
I'll do it again. I'm not afraid.
I'd do
But
it again.
is that Jim that's asking, do you think the Civil War is still going on in the spirit world? Is that
That is Jim.
Yeah, Jim, that's a great question, and nobody, we don't know, nobody knows what's going on in the spirit world, but being in the medical field, um, and before I was a nurse, I drove ambulance. I was an EMT for 11 years, so I unfortunately got to be on scene after traumatic things happened, and I think that there are people that know, like I've been in all the scenarios where people are actively dying from cancer and they know they're dying and they've made amends and they've accepted and they're ready to go and they say their goodbyes and they pass on and then there's been people that get hit by a car 1 second they're listening to their favorite song and the next they're gone. So these traumatic deaths. I think the people that were fighting in the Civil War that were running through the woods and then got taken out by a bullet, there's a good chance there's someone still running around in the woods. How do we know?
Yeah.
Versus the person that had that's passing away from cancer and that knows they're dying. Like I definitely think there's a difference there, Jim, between the traumatic sudden deaths versus the other. But then you could potentially you could tie that into the whole residual thing. Why do we see these loops happening? Why is it that this person keeps walking through the same door and going out the same way? Why are they stuck there? Like, you could tie it all. I mean, we could do this for days. And we have, the paranormal community has for, trying to figure it out. But I think that's a great question, Jim. And I think that, yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that before that, Mel was talking about the experience she had with a homeless person. There doesn't matter if you're, whatever your title was or your role was there, whether you were wealthy or poor, I don't think the homeless are any less passionate about their country than the rich.
No.
Everyone that we've experienced there, I mean, every corner we were on in Edinburgh, there's somebody playing the bagpipes.
Yes.
I mean, dressed in full kilts,
Yeah.
It's constantly happening, and it's just a different vibe there. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess again, like I said, that's why we do what we do. Everybody's had, I definitely had my personal experience that got me into this. And I've said this 1,000 times, how the paranormal community has been really therapy for me.
Yeah.
Getting to meet the people the pioneers, I would say, for me, that started this, that were brave enough to go on TV when most of us at the time were afraid to say anything because they didn't want to get laughed at from coworkers. And, it was a different time. So to have these people come out and be brave enough to share what they were doing to try to help people and then start this whole thing, it's been therapy, and it's been a great opportunity to learn more about other people's experiences and how other people think, or like Jim and I were we were just talking about the whole traumatic death versus, and how does that take, how could that relate to someone who's been experiencing a residual type haunt versus, something that's just annoying all the time, there's just so many different types of experiences too. So you kind of learn a little bit about all of it. And um, I just enjoy the ride, you know. I really
I
do.
know. And, one of the things that I thought when we went this past year, we got to have a very quiet night at Balgony.
Yeah.
And that was, it was very cool. We got to do an event at Sterling Castle, Sterling Jail, old Sterling Jail. And there was so much energy because it was a rainy, gloomy night. But I actually got to see the Milky Way on my way home from Sterling to St. Andrews.
Really?
And Gregor was so nice because I'm in the back seat. Lori's passed out. Rick and he are chatting, and I'm bored and I'm looking around because they're not talking to me. So I looked and I saw, and it was rainy, but I saw all these lights outside the window. And I said, "Can I crack my window? Do you care?" And he was like, "No, you do what you want, Les." So I did. And it was the freaking Milky Way. I've
Yeah.
never seen the Milky Way before then. And I was like, and
Yeah.
I'm doing all these little girl noises in the back. Oh, oh, oh.
I would have
And
been too.
so it didn't wake anybody up, right?
Mhm.
So I rolled the window back up and I sat there for a little bit longer. I said, "I'm going to roll it down again, okay?" So, out of all the ghosts, all the experiences that we had at Sterling Jail, it was so much fun. And the best part was we got to go out on the turret. And I swear to goodness, it was the most beautiful thing because you can see Sterling Castle over here.
Mm.
We got Wallace Monument over here. You've got cemeteries over here. And I was just like,
yeah.
And it was daylight still.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful.
But it was getting dark enough that they had the lights in the castle.
Yeah.
So you could see the gold. And I was just kind of like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I had the best life in the world. I mean,
yeah.
It's just,
but the people that live there get to do that whenever they want.
All the time.
I'm so jealous. And
Lee lives there.
Yeah.
So
do we feel like the paranormal community is getting even greater? Like more people seem to be opening their minds and questioning their concept of reality. I think from like Kat and I's generation, I came from a generation where when I saw things as a kid, I was told to go back to bed, that it was in my imagination.
Yeah.
And I think that our generation more so embraced the, what is it that you saw, and tell me what you heard, versus tuck it away and then live with that trauma, because we understand that. But I wouldn't be on this show right now if the paranormal community wasn't getting even greater, Mel, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a paranormal investigator because of my own personal experiences, but I'm a fan of Kat's. I'm a fan of Rick McCallum's. I'm a fan of everyone that I've had the privilege and honor to come along this journey with, the Andrea Perrins and the Bloomkeys and the Burnses and everybody that I've met along the way. It's been because, and all of my family in Scotland, all of you there, has only been possible because of the greatness of the paranormal community. It's not because why would any of you guys look at me and try to rise me up to this level as just some guy that came in with an experience, watching TV shows and going to Paracons, to try to help me, through my thing. That's what we do. Old Paulding Jail, Shelley had an event there, and there was a group of kids that drove over 3 hours to come to this event. And by the end of the night, they had all opened up and shared the reason why they came, because they were having an experience at home, but they were afraid to say anything about it, because I think the youngest one in the group was 17. they were young, 17 to the, early 20s. But
Wow,
something
that is
happened at
young.
home and they didn't know what it was. They went to an event where the connection was made. They ended up at the jail. Boom, boom, boom. But because everybody welcomed them and listened to them and heard their story and kind of made it, we tend to make it about you at that moment and what happened to you. And don't be afraid to say it. That's why you're here. We're not going to judge you. Like I don't feel judged in this community, which makes me want to do more. And so,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So I think, yes, I think the paranormal community, I think it's great. I don't know, I'm not on the Hollywood side of it. I don't know the dark side of the paranormal community. There's dark sides to everything, unfortunately, but I wasn't in it for that. I needed to find answers to my own thing. And I was able to do that. And because of my experience, I've been able to help other people. I feel like I've been able to help people. And I
think you have.
That's what I do
for a living. A lot of that is because of, I was just going to say, the type of human you are. I mean, I think that in large part, I mean, it's not always true, but it often is, that if you've had an experience that brought you to the paranormal, then you're very willing to help other people who are having experiences that are scaring them. And that you're accepting when they are having them. Melinda said that she finds when speaking with people randomly, they seem to be more interested than scoffing and eye rolling like it used to be. Yeah. If people find out what I do, they're like, oh, Rick and I listen to you, and I'm, do you investigate? Can we go and look at things? And I'm just like, I have some equipment and, I have it with me right then. Usually I have something, but, it's just like, yeah, we can talk about it. And, if they get an experience, I'll get something on Facebook or every so often an email, but usually somebody on Facebook that's like, what do you think about this? I'm like, well, depending on what it is, I'm like, well, it sounds like you've got somebody that's really interested in you and your home, or, oh, let me give you a number, but I think because, they'll need something that I can't do. And, I just think that old school methods work as well as newfangled methods. And, but I think that we stand a better chance of seeing with newfangled methods than old school methods. We can communicate with both, right?
Yeah.
But I like to get video evidence. I like to see what might be around me. Yeah. And I love when Lori has her SLS because she gets a lot of activity with that.
That's her
She's
piece.
good with an SLS.
Good with the SLS. Well, the whole, to go back to the scoffing thing, Mel, and like how I agree with you, but even, I started this journey sharing the story of what was happening with my family with the coworker. Yeah. I'm at Steven's house right now, Steven and Susan, and Steven is the co-founder of Scars. He's the one that pushed me to do this. Yeah. He didn't laugh at me and say you're crazy, whatever. He said, well, Mikey, there's a paranormal group here locally. Maybe you could reach out to them and see what they think about your story. And, and I was like, really? Like there's ghost hunters here in the area? And he goes, yeah, then he went on to share like my sister's friends with him, and they've done, like, he made, those connections. I would have never done that if I hadn't have shared that. Right. And had Steven here to tell me, hey man, and what of all the people that I could have told that story to is going to be Steven, whose sister is friends with a paranormal group in town that's local that can take me and do this and tell you, what I mean? Like it all spiraled into this. So
if you ever doubt that things happen the way they're supposed to, that's a good case in point.
That's why I'm here right now, because of that story. I had a friend. I have a best friend.
Yeah.
And what do we do with our best friends? We tell them
We trust
everything.
them.
We
Yeah.
trust them. I trusted him with what was happening with my family. He didn't scoff at me, Mel. He didn't laugh at me. He didn't make me feel like I was crazy. He tried to help me. And that opened up a door, which opened up another door, which opened up another door, which here we are 25 years later. I just walked through Kat's door.
Yeah.
Onto the show. And it's all because of, those little connections. And don't be afraid, if you're going through something, to talk to somebody about it. You never know what, there was a reason why I told Steven about that story. There was a reason why Steven and I met. I needed him at that time. I was going out of my mind with what was happening at home. I needed that. And he was the one, he had the answers, or, to get the ball rolling. So I love our community. I love everything about it.
I love it too. And I love that it's getting, again, like you said, because of the pioneers in the television side of this, there's so many, but Grant and Jason, and, people laugh at me about this, but Zach Bagans, you've got to remember that he's a drama major. He is an actor, but he also has a real thirst. And I don't always agree with his methodologies, but it's not my job to be his policeman. And I think he pays a price sometimes for the methods that he uses. But I do think that all of these people, then you've got the Ghost Brothers, they came out also in a community that has no interest in that on a daily basis. And they were willing to put themselves out there as well.
Yeah.
And, it's really something that they had to overcome a lot. All of them had to overcome a lot of prejudice. And, there's a lot of people that have come along with, especially, Grant and Jason, and now of course they've separated, but everybody that there's a lot of stuff still coming out of that relationship.
Right.
And I just think it's cool. Melinda said that she shared an incident with someone on Facebook that had happened to her at Greyfriars, and that person led her to Scottish Paranormal.
I wouldn't have met Scottish Paranormal if it hadn't been for Rick McCallum. I wouldn't have met Rick.
I wouldn't have met you if it weren't for Rick McCallum.
I wouldn't have met you if it hadn't been for Rick McCallum. I wouldn't have met Rick McCallum if it hadn't been for Jamie Montgomery, who was friends with Kat and Shannon and the Porterville Ghost Society. Like boom, 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 and you can trickle it down to, but each one of them, nobody was ever like, oh, don't bring Mikey back because he's just he wants to have a TV show or something, or what I mean? Like everyone that is in that little web of ours knows my story. And you and I have shared stories, and Rick McCallum, we all know Rick's stories, and the ones that he shared with everyone in the books, and the ones that maybe not everybody knows, but and so yes, it spirals like that, and I've never felt unwelcome. I was just with Andrea and Chrissy right before Christmas, having dinner. They invited me over to the house and cooked dinner for,
we're gonna share a little bit of that. You hear?
Yeah.
So there y'all are cooking dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Just in Georgia, right before Christmas. I mean, Oh, there's being Peanut.
I had to put this up.
I know. She's such a cutie, little Peanut. Oh, there's Anne.
There she is.
Yes.
And she is listening. They both are. And I'm sure he is too. So, hey, girls. Hey, girls. Hey.
Hey. But I mean, this is our family now, you know?
It is. You know, and
I get you get invited over for dinner or come over for Christmas. You know, these girls flooded me with Christmas presents while I was out there. Like, I mean, it was just, Chrissy and I went grocery shopping. Like, we just hung out. It can be the big paranormal thing. We can go ghost hunting in Scotland together, or we can have homemade chicken soup in your living room. Like, it's that kind of relationship. I had the same, you and I had lunch. That same trip.
The best sushi in Birmingham.
On the way to Mama's house, I called you up. Last night, Rick and I, McCallum, we went and had dinner with him, with Stevie and Dan and Susan and Nancy. And so, yes, you can be friends. Scottish Paranormal. Are you kidding me? I probably gained 20 pounds when I was out there because Gregor keeps making me eat fish and chips and butter bread. And, it's insane. Like Lynn and Gary, everybody out there. I can go to Scotland right now and I have family there. I have a roof over my head there. And it's the same for those guys that they come over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, Tom wouldn't know you if it wasn't for Denise. I mean, it's just we all have.
That's true, because it is, you know, and you know, Denise is one of those special people too. You know, we met doing radio shows, and she is one of those people that she is going to come and find you and meet you. You know, she is a face-to-face girl. And so, you know, I was in Arkansas, she came down, you know, and saw me when I was down at Eureka Springs was it my first time, Tom? I think it was. And you know, I've been so blessed to get to meet all these people. It is a web. It is a beautiful web of humans that have spirits that are interconnected. And it's just a beautifully woven tapestry. And, you know, you're always going to have people that tend to go to the dark side a little bit because of the nature of what we do. I'm not that person. I don't like the dark side. I try to bring, you know, light, because that's my power, and you know, try to keep things on that level. And you know, there's only been a time or two that somebody was dark enough that they affected how my light flowed. It happens. But you know, you recognize that, and your friends help you with that.
Yeah, and it doesn't end. Like Rick and I were talking about, you know, Tombstone. We were down there. We did an investigation at the Undertaker Coffee there, and there was a young boy there that was, his parents brought him. Yeah. And I'm sure you've heard this story from Rick, but he had his little ghost stop case and his EVP watch, and he had his little gear that he was ready to go. And you know, we were able to have an experience with him at this location. Oh, cool. And it was, you know, and the parents were so grateful that, you know, Rick was so kind and teaching, and you know, and he's just a great guy. And so you know, but you can have that experience. That's what we're trying to do when people come to these events. Like that's what I was looking for when I would go to these events, is to have those experiences with people. Like to be able to walk up to Kat Hobson and talk to you, like, you know, I'm talking to you now as somebody that I've never met. That whole I'm greater than thou attitude doesn't exist. You know, you're gonna listen. You know,
talking to listen.
Well, yeah, talking to Andrea when we go to the events and she's standing there at her booth, the line is so damn long because she's hugging and kissing everyone.
Everybody.
You know,
she is a loving person.
She's a loving, but even for me. But when I was out there, last week, I was telling her a story about a friend of mine and her daughter and going through some stuff, and she's autographing books for them with words of encouragement for them.
That's just her.
Yeah, and she did that for me for a coworker in Texas, and like, yeah, that's just her. Rick was signing books for everybody. You know, it's just I could go all night on this whole show about how generous the community is and people are, and how loving and how fortunate I've been. You know, like I said,
Ditto.
yeah, and to have people coming in the chat and sharing their stories, and you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom said we keep missing connection, but we know each other. So when we meet, it'll be meeting an old friend again. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly it. And, you know, I've done the show for 10 years. And when I got hacked and everything, it got a little bit off track, and that's okay. I love where I am now. Can you believe this? I mean,
Yeah.
I love where I am now. And, you know, I'm so fortunate because these shows go out on the dark. Oh my gosh. I know, I'm looking. Dark Realm TV. I didn't want to say the wrong words, but it's an app on Roku and Amazon Prime. So, you know, I'm back into, and this was just a blessing. This was Carl and my relationship with Denise, and, you know, everything that played into me being on this network was such a blessing.
Yeah.
And that's that connection again. You know, it's just one of those things that you don't always know how good of friends people are when you're just being friends, and you love people, and you're just, and then, you know, I was really, Carl, I'm going to tell on you, but I was really in a bind, right? I'd done my show for ever, and then got blown up by some trickster, and didn't have a way really to do my show, or not a way to be out the way that I wanted to. I was with another network for a little while, and that was completely not a match. It's a great network. I just had a bad producer at the time, and that's okay. Everybody has their moments, and yeah, I certainly have more than my share of mine, right? So I wound up here, and Carl was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to do this and that and this and that and I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I can't believe how nice this person is. You know, this person only knows me through Denise. He doesn't, we've never sat down and broken bread, or, you know, this is just the most unbelievably kind person. And he is.
Yeah.
And, you know, in his community, his home community, there's nothing that he wouldn't do for somebody. I've seen that through hearing random things that, you know, he probably didn't know I was paying attention to. But it's just so cool. It's like Tom McNicholas in chat. You know, again, through relationships, are we friends? And I just think that's so darn special.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like Andrea Perrin, right?
Yeah.
She is one of the nicest women, and you just couldn't ask for somebody kinder.
Yeah.
There's just so much that goes on through this community, and yet we're all weirdo ghost hunters, right? We all are, out of the norm. We're like, paranormal.
we can do our ghost hunting stuff, and then we can go sit down and have dinner, and
or just watch a sunset, or just catch up with each other when we have the opportunity. I mean,
and there's so many. It's a community. There's so many people that I haven't even mentioned that are just as as tight, and all over the country, and now it's international, and
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we could talk about all the scary places that we've been and the scary things we've seen and done, but really, I think it's for these experiences that we're having right now,
I
as
agree.
the relationships that we're making, and the you never know who you're going to help. You know, like that little boy that came to Tombstone. That why is he interested in the paranormal? Maybe he was having experiences as a child that he didn't understand. Maybe he's looking for his own answers. Maybe he's going to be the next big thing. You know, finding answers to questions that we all have. Who knows? But
Jimmy Buffett said questions that bothered us so.
Yeah. Just be cool. Just be human.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
And you know, it's one of those things that, boy, it just blows me away. It really does, because we never know when we're going to come across someone that's going to be a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
And the paranormal community brings that, just like everything else does.
Well, I'll tell you, the 25, not to interrupt you, but 25 sucked for me. And it kind of knocked me off. You know, I kind of disappeared for a little while there.
You did.
I've had you and Rick and the Lorries and, you know, the Cat Gwens and the Shannon Amoses and everybody. Hey, are you dead? Are you okay? Do you need help? More, you know, not on just a paranormal level, but on a personal level. We just haven't heard from you a while. Are you okay?
I need you to call me.
I need you to call me. Just just send me a picture, you know,
proof of life.
Something. Give me something.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you don't just disappear once you're in this group. You know, you it's like I said, you find, you know, it's a family. It's a family.
It is.
And so I'm very, you have no idea how honored I am to be a part of this, and how loved I feel from everyone. And it's a beautifully overwhelming thing, you know?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
so
there's a reason people care about you.
Well, yeah, we get to know that human side.
We do.
Yeah. And so
Jim said the dogs are chasing a chupacabra. Those were not my dogs this time.
Yeah,
I have two dogs in this house, and they're both a little bit rowdy sometimes.
It's the wolf moon. That's why
it is the wolf moon.
Was
that you behind that beard?
They were chasing
going
me
off like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, I got to say something to Carl. I was just looking at a video in here last night, the one that is not new, and I don't see it now. Do you see it? It's Mikey's video. Carl knows everything, guys. If anybody can find it, he can. I saw it last night. I just looked at it last night, but I don't see one in here that's long enough.
Which video was it?
It's the one that you did in Scotland.
Ooh.
Of Scotland.
The little drone one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I just had it last night. I was looking at it. Yeah. I just have to find it. But anyway, Mikey is the best drone operator I know. And he's pretty darn good at doing other things too. So it's not just his equipment. It's not just, although he does look like Rocket Man sometimes when he's going into an investigation. And it's really cool. It is really cool. But I think it's one of the greatest things ever when we're sitting at dinner and this person has taken a video And one of the people viewing it says, "Oh, you cannot have done that. If I saw that, I would have to take you to jail," or whatever he said. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
oh dear. Oh dear. And
yeah,
it was perfect.
It worked out. It worked out. I know what
It
not
did
to
work
do.
out.
Yeah.
It did work out.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's see. Was that 2025? It was, right? I love that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Carl,
Little
can you make
snippets.
it full? I want to ask Carl if he can make that full screen. Can you show that in full screen?
Mm.
There we
Yeah.
are.
So, what's that?
It says that there's supposed to be, I can hit a present and do it, but I don't know where that is. You can tell that I am very spoiled doing this. Carl helps me all the time. But it's just such a wonder thing.
Yeah, every one of those clips, I can remember. I remember standing there for each one, and again, the pride and the beauty of each location of each place. The being at Castle Mangus, where to fly, and to ask permission to do that, and to get permission granted, and then to hear the story afterwards. You send the footage in, and to hear them say, "We've had these stories of these busts that are on top of this castle for centuries, but we've never seen them up close. And here we are. Now we can see the tops of the castle, or being at the Knights Templar Chapel.
Oh my gosh!
To have the cross. I mean, it was just every flying over the stone." On the beach, every little thing. I remember being there and feeling the history and the importance of that, and being able to catch those little moments, and then to be able to look back at that little video and remember each place. So
every time I watch that video, it just hits me that we're so amazingly fortunate. I'm going to put some pictures up because these are yours, but that's a Culloden clan marker.
Yeah.
They buried the clans together as much as they could.
Yeah.
And so each of these stones coming back through the back there is a different clan. And this was our first trip.
Yeah.
That was at Roslyn, and that is Miss Andrea Perrin.
Yeah.
And let's see.
I got a lot of hugs that trip.
Oh, she is such a love. Let's see. That's one of your images. Where is that?
Oh, this is the Rick McCallum and I went to the murder house in Los Angeles where they filmed the first season of American Horror Story. And so this is the back of that mansion, that home. But we got to walk through there and do a little investigation down there in the basement, and that's a beautiful property too. Yeah.
The exterior is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Some people might recognize that from American Horror Story season 1.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Is it very active?
So we've heard stories while we were there, and then Rick and I were down in the basement doing an investigation, and we had the whole thing happen again where his K2 started going off. And then as we're standing there, we had set REM pods up. REM started going off. He set up a REM pod in another room. So we had 2 REM pods. There were little rooms kind of off to the side there in the basement. And that REM pod started going off. I had another millimeter with the REM pod in the back part of the basement that while we were in the front doing, talking to the first one, that one behind us started going off. So yeah, we definitely had some experiences there with the equipment going off.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was neat.
And then,
yeah, that's again inside the kitchen there in the murder house. I love the fact that you kind of want to see a place like this be restored. But look at, that picture right there has got a lot of history too. You see the brick there, and
yeah.
Like you almost want to leave some of it like untouched, just to preserve the wood floors down there that were, it just, you can feel the age of the house and the history.
And then this one was a little funny.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, funny.
Oh yes, we were there doing. There was the twins. Yeah, they were doing. The person that had rented the property had been filming all week. For their podcast, and so I ran into the twins while we were there, but it felt very Shining-ish.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then that's beautiful.
Yeah, just another living, I guess, the living area there. But look at the ceiling in there.
That's what I'm saying. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, when I first saw this photo, I'm thinking that that's at the Strathern.
Oh, really?
Right? Doesn't the carpet look similar?
Yeah.
And it does look like the Strathern.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And here it definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
So the Strathern, y'all, is a beautiful hotel that we stayed at in Kirkcaldy. So Kirkcaldy is in Fife in Scotland. So,
yeah, look at that staircase, and then
oh my gosh, that staircase is amazing. I love it.
Oh, this is
Inverary, isn't it?
It's Inverary, yeah. And in that little clip you showed with the drone footage, me flying over the water underneath the bridge, that's behind Inverary there. That castle is just gorgeous. They're all they're all wonders, but some of them you just, I don't know.
This one was nothing but weaponry in the first floor. It was, and the dining area was set. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I love that you got this. This is one of my favorite images I've ever seen of Inverary Castle.
Yeah, I think I got that when we were driving in. This is Stirling.
Mm-hmm. But those roses are so pretty.
The rose garden in Stirling. There's outside of Murder House again, Rick and I.
You guys are such rascals.
I know. Look at him. Look at that guy. But yeah. I kind of was like
I'm telling you. You wouldn't think that he was a great big ghost hunter, would you?
Yeah, yeah. You kind of, I don't know. I think he would be a stunt man or something. Did anybody else like zoom in on this and see if there was anything peeking out of the windows up there? It has
Well, it
that
looks
feel,
like,
doesn't it?
yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah.
And what is this? Oh,
Oh,
Inverary
Inverary.
from the. That's such a beautiful castle.
Isn't she?
I think I found one that looked like Dunrobin. Whoops, we were already there.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's Aerith.
That was so cool.
You know, Falkirk. I mean, right behind there. That's where William Wallace was handed over, I guess is what you would say,
Yeah.
in Falkirk there. But if you look at that picture to the right of it there, when we first got to Aerith, the next morning we stayed at the hotel, but the next morning I woke up at like 4 a.m, just because of the time change and everything else. I couldn't sleep, so I walked over to the castle, and there's a little hill there on that right hand side. Mm-hmm. And the morning dew and just everything Scotland, and I just kind of laid there on the hill and looked out at the field there, and just, you can almost just feel everything happening around you from that mm-hmm. time. Or it's just such a different vibe,
It is.
Yeah.
The energy there is beyond. It really is.
It is. And I love Aerith Castle too. I love that castle. We had a great experience there,
Yes. And got in trouble for it. Would have done it again 67 times.
Worth it. Mm-hmm. Oh, they call this the Suicide Bridge. Mm-hmm. Now, the story behind this is, and this is a beautiful castle. That's the castle in the opening, the first slide there in the little drone clip. But this is the other side of that castle, and on that bridge there, they call that Suicide Bridge. And it's the strangest thing. It's animals,
mm-hmm.
dogs that just jump right off the side of that, unexplained. Some of them have survived the fall just to come back after their recovery and do it again. Like, they just don't know why they do that. But it's a beautiful property. I mean,
that's Overton House, isn't
it? Yes. Wait.
That was a beautiful house too.
Overton, yeah.
But and the property on the other side of it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just like a fairy tale,
Well, it looks like a fairy tale there.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, look at the it's just such a pretty. Scotland's gorgeous. I don't care where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Is this inside the castle grounds?
This is, yeah. Stirling Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we had some. Oh, I took it off. I have the picture of me ducking to go into a hole in Stirling Castle, or a pathway.
Why'd you take it down?
Well, because we were doing other stuff. So, I don't know. It might be in there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh.
That was.
Yeah, we're there on the bridge again. Jay and Rick and I.
I love. That's another side, another view of that house. That house was so pretty.
Yeah, beautiful.
And let's see if I can find. I think I only have your pictures in here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you said when we got there?
I said it looks like we're walking into a painting, I believe. Isn't that?
Yes, you did. That's still one of my favorite Mikey quotes of anybody quotes, because it did. And you can't really tell in this image, but to the left is the most beautiful pasture. And I always tell people this because when we were coming in, there were long leaf, long needle pines. The needles were like this long, and the arms were drooping. Remember that road we came in on?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was so out of time. So out of time.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant. And then there's where you made your special friend.
Oh yeah. That's
You had the best time there.
That was in Perth, I believe.
Yes. Since you were mentioning Perth.
Yes, Perth. I love that town too, and that's the museum that they have. And if you have an opportunity to go, they really have done an amazing job of preserving. I mean, they have some maps.
Oh my gosh! Yes, from the 1400s.
Yeah, part of the original building preserved. Like it's a great. If I recall, they were talking about one time. Isn't it was a leather workers building, right? Isn't that where the Leatherman shop was? The Fair Maid House, yeah, Lori. And so when they would come in from, sea and dock, they would come in and hit the leather shop there. And I think there's still the area that opens out to the street where they would walk up to the window and grab, shop through the window or whatever. But yeah, that's just, I just love that. I love that town. This is where we were walking through the street and you look down and they have the grates in the ground that look like
ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
They're ghosts.
They're markers. They're actually markers where they found bodies
after the floods.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's just another reason to love, Scotland and you're walking in living history there,
Yeah. I wanted to show you this one. I think this is the one. Did you ever see this picture I took?
No.
Her head is transparent. There's a picture I took just before that, but it's not. And I thought it was just my camera, right? But if you go back and watch the documentary that the Dark Zone made of our investigation through Scotland, when Kathleen got that shot on video, the same effect was in place.
Really? And that's Laura. Isn't that Laura?
Yes, that's Laura.
Yeah.
With no head or transparent head.
Yeah.
And again, I thought it was just, how I captured it. This woman actually, y'all, was very solid, right? There was no transparency to her.
Definitely has a
head.
And
so I just thought, and I'm a photographer. I've never had that happen with any of the portraits that I've done, any of the beach work I've done. Everybody always has their head. And so I just put it off to a fluke with my camera.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you watch the Dark Zone TV's episode of, what did they call that? Do you remember?
The Dark Zone?
Yeah, what the show was called?
Well, are you talking about the series they did, or just when they filmed
this was on
investigation? Because you can go back and watch the Balgoni investigation.
Okay, but if you do that, the video has her with a transparent head as well.
Yeah.
Both cameras should not have done that.
Maybe she's, got royalty blood, and it was an off of their head thing. I don't know.
The rest of her is fine.
Yeah, maybe her cousin's cousin was like a queen or something, and a Mary, and they just I don't know.
But isn't that the most bizarre photo?
It's very.
I can't tell you how many photos I've taken. That's the most bizarre.
Yeah.
And
oh wow, that's a good one.
And Venice Bridge.
Yeah.
So,
wait, was that yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the three bridges there, right? That you can walk across, and that was
And where we stayed was right on the other side of that.
Yeah. That's the River Ness.
It is indeed.
And that's technically where Loch Ness started.
Mm-hmm.
The Loch Ness monster originated in the River Ness and then got cast out to the loch, never to come back to the river. But yeah, in Inverness,
which is such a beautiful town.
It is. Right behind us is where we enjoyed our bacon cheeseburgers.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember one time we were walking across that bridge coming into town behind us there, and I saw a couple of famous people up there having lunch. Do you remember?
That was so funny. Yes.
Yeah. That was great.
We looked out the window, guys, and Mikey's like,
That's Rick McCallum. That's Rick McCallum and Cat Hobson.
It was hilarious. It was so fun.
It was good times.
And every day there was fun.
Yeah.
So, and Jim said maybe it was a spirit passing through when I took that picture of her.
I mean, how do you? You could send that photo in to be broken down and the light spectrums and the this and the that, but I don't know. It's unexplainable. It's paranormal. That's for sure.
It is. Well, and the fact that Kathleen, who is, she worked on Ghost Hunters, she's worked on everything. She is a professional.
Yeah.
And it happened with hers too.
Yeah.
Blew me away. And there is Bannockburn.
There's Bannockburn, and that's where
Lori killed people.
Yeah, that place. That I would love to spend a night in Bannockburn, and
I would too.
This is our second trip. Our first trip, we were denied access to that. And I was very upset because that was one of the reasons I wanted to go was this property right here. But to have the opportunity to go the second time around and spend the time that we did in there, and we all had experiences in that place in the short time that we were there, and I would just love to get in and spend the night and see what else we could catch. I mean, there was stuff that was happening down in the kitchen, the rooms off the kitchen where they're doing construction. They're kind of blocked off. It was happening real time, and
that was bizarre.
Yeah, and then at the same time that was happening, you guys were having experiences down in the basement area or the So
I still can't believe I went down there.
Yeah, no, I'm beautiful property. And
everything
the
about
history
it.
There too. I mean, the history. Again,
Battle of Bannockburn.
How do you have just one favorite, Mel?
You can't.
You can't.
I can't.
You can't.
I cannot. Yeah. And it's just I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've been there.
Yeah. Well, I think we ran through.
I have to tell you, this was one of my very favorite pictures.
Oh, really?
And I would not have thought, the gardens at Stirling Castle were absolutely astounding. And there was a private garden as you walked out of there going to the old jail that just absolutely took my breath. I loved it so much. No. And one of my favorite things is the fact that we have gotten to experience not just the paranormal side of Scotland and so many other places, but we've also gotten just to experience the raw beauty of the place. And she said, Tom says, isn't there a lore in Scotland about not seeing your head in photographs, something about a second sight? I'm not familiar with that, Tom, but I'm sure going to look at that because I was so, until I watched that video, the television show, I showed it to Laura and I was like, I don't know what's up with this, but this happened at Balgony. And by the way, y'all, that was in the Laird's quarters of Balgony, and which is a very haunted location. So there were so many oddities. I think a lot of it was the different energies that were bouncing around between people while we were there that day. But because there was a lot. And so I just put it pretty much off to that, you know.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't something with my camera, then there's, had to be something else. So I was looking for any explanation. And I don't know, man. It just blows my mind.
You know some people you can ask.
Yeah.
Over there. You know a guy.
Yeah. I know a guy. I know about
3.
6 or 7 of them. Yeah. But we got to investigate the Laird's quarters when we were there.
Yeah.
This year.
Okay, well, I missed that, but when we were there before, that was one of the reasons why when we went back and did the museum that I had set up equipment everywhere that I had, because in the Laird's chamber up there, that first time, Gregor had set his tri-field meter in the back. I had a REM pod behind us directly across from it. We had, a Mel meter. We had REM pods. We had kind of surrounded the room with equipment. And yes. Gregor's tri-field went off. And then the REM went off, and then the Mel went off, and Rick's over here with his K2 going crazy. So we were having this thing happen, and I felt like it was, I'd even asked, were there ancillary, or, when they had their secret meetings up here, the Laird and his guests, and they talked about money and war and everything private up here, were there still servants that would have stayed kind of in the shadows at the helm, ready to go get wine or whatever they needed? If he said, go get me something, they weren't supposed to be listening to what was happening, but they were kind of, in the background. And if that's the case, would there still be people feeling like they needed to stay there, ready to serve or do whatever at any moment, whenever they're called to? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. They would have people that do that. So maybe we were picking up people moving around in the while we were having our meeting, it was just a thought, but I specifically set the equipment up that way again downstairs because of that experience that we'd had the first time. And, it went nuts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I get clowned on because of all this gear that I drag into places, but sometimes having a piece of equipment on every piece of furniture, comes in handy if you're recording the environment and changes and things like that. It works out. But
you need them. Yeah. Yeah. I carry a load of stuff too, and
and look what happens.
There's a reason for that.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes
I'm going through all the videos on my computer looking for that Balgony.
Yeah. Reel. Well, we'll just have to do another one, Kat, where we have.
I'm down with that. We can just do video evidence all day.
Yeah, we do a series about it. Just
that would be fun. We can put stuff in because you don't really see much of mine, so
I
can pop stuff in there too, and we can critique each other's and get some feedback on what you think is going on in it.
I'm embarrassed to admit I have over 20 terabytes of video on hard drives that I have not gone through.
I don't even know how much I have because I do not keep up with mine quite like you do.
Yeah,
it's a mindset thing.
It's
also,
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, we got to get some fires under each other again. We got to get Rick on YouTube. This guy's got stuff, tucked.
We should make our own YouTube channel for our group.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Just throw our stuff up there. People ask all the time, what's your YouTube? I'm like, I suck at social media.
It's criminal that you don't have one.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But
maybe 2026 I'll have one up,
Hey, I am ready to see it because you know what? You do such a good job. You really do. You're so good at that.
Yeah.
So we are out of time. I'm
All
so
right.
glad you were here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Good to be had.
I miss you. Miss you guys.
Miss you too. I so enjoyed seeing you face to face and sitting down and breaking tuna.
Yes. Yes. It was a happy little, it worked out. So.
It did. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. You're the reason we do this, and we will see you next week. Same cat time, same cat channel. I sure do appreciate y'all being here.